hydrating. Are you? Are you hydrating? Even if it's not as hot as in Arizona, make sure you're hydrating. Make sure you're taking your vitamins and eating well and treating each other even better. Do you want to put on a tinfoil hat with me? Let's go on a Becca rant. Let's go on a roller coaster with Becca on her roller coaster brain. Oh jeez, there's someone next to me and they're looking at me and I'm filming myself and it's so narcissistic. I swear I'm not filming myself because I think I'm great. Oh, it's embarrassing. Okay, so tinfoil hat. Just hear me out, y'all. Just hear me out. Let me know what you think. Because even though I'm obviously not the smartest person in the world, but I don't think it takes a genius to kind of put these things together once you start paying attention to all the different pieces. So here we go. Let's see if I can even put it together in a logical way, because let me tell you what, I just thought about this and I thought I need to say it out loud before it leaves my brain forever and I forget about it. Let's try and track with my own damn self. Feminism, okay? Did feminism come about from women, or tinfoil hat time, or was it a government psyop project, social experiment to serve themselves? Because when you think about it, our government is run off of taxpayer dollars, right? They can't do anything without us civilians, us citizens of the United States, our tax dollars constantly rolling through the system and them taxing the shit out of our paychecks, right? So it would behoove, if you're a government and you're corrupt and you're seeking more power and more influence, you need more money, correct? In order to make that happen, right? So if only males, for the most part, not only males, obviously there have always been females in the workforce, but predominantly males in the workforce, when only half of your population is working and the other half is staying home, childbearing, that's missed out money, right? So, as a power-hungry, corrupt government, hello? Go. As a power-hungry, corrupt government, okay, I apologize, it wasn't your fault, the light was really slow. I'm sorry for yelling at you. One more time. As a power-hungry, corrupt government, you're gonna want the rest of your citizens to start working, because once they start working, those are more paychecks that you get to tax. And then the more money that you tax off of these people's paychecks, the more money you have to do all the things that you want to do. Okay, so let's focus on that first point. Feminism. Get the women in the workforce. Get the women voting, right? Tell the women you are oppressed and you are unhappy at home taking care of children, which you're biologically hardwired to do, which means that you're naturally fulfilling, you're breathing, right? You're at home and you're breathing, doing the thing that just comes naturally to you, but the government is like, haha, wait, no, breathing is bad. Breathing is being enforced upon you by the patriarchy. You don't like breathing. Breathing is horrible. Childbearing is horrible. Staying at home, taking care of your husband while he leaves and goes to work all day. Woof. You got the short end of the stick on that one. You get to stay at home and hang out with your kids all day and cook and clean. Oh, that's the worst. Why don't you want to be out there with your husband serving some asshole boss, making money? Money is where it's at. Money is where you're going to feel empowered, not staying home with your kids. Are you kidding me? Females, come on now. The men have been holding you down for too long. They're not letting you go to school. They're not letting you get educated. They're not letting you go to work. They're not letting you live a life. All you are breeders. You just pop out babies and take care of them and cook and clean. What a pathetic life, right? And so women are like, yeah, wow, I never thought about it that way. Let's do it. Screw the man. Not literally though, because then you'll have more kids that you have to take care of. Screw the system. We're going to work. Mission accomplished on the government's end of things, right? So now you have your entire population at work for you. and they don't even know it. They're your little slaves, and they don't even know it. They're happy to do it. They're happy to go to work every single day while you take a chunk of their paycheck every time. And anyway, so you tax the shit out of them, lining your own pockets so you guys can do what it is that you want to do. Additionally, whether this was just a happy accident or it was planned as well, the next tier to that, pyramid plan is the downfall of the family structure, right? Which, time and time again, you hear that from people on the right and in the red and conservatives and Republicans and all that stuff. So they're constantly talking about the destruction of the nuclear family. However, they got a point. They've got a freaking point, right? They're not wrong when they talk about that. Whether or not you give a damn is up to you, but they're not wrong. The family structure is falling apart. They have incentivized women to go into the workforce. They have incentivized women to divorce their husbands and take their children away from them. Now you have broken families and broken people all over the place because women left their post. All right, and that's on us. And I'll make another video on that. As women, we have abandoned our post. Men have continued to be where they're supposed to be, which is working and creating society and building buildings and building roads, building literally the entire world that we live in, and everything that makes it function, makes our world go round. Men have continued to do their job. Us women, we abandoned our post, okay? We got manipulated to do so. If you've got your tinfoil hat on and you're following my lead here, and if it was a true government plan, which I believe that in my heart of hearts, I believe that is absolutely something our government would do. So feminism takes the women away, breaks down the nuclear family. Families are now in shambles. Government is now lining their pockets because everyone is in the workforce. And now families, whether they want to stay together or not and have a single parent income where the dad goes to work and the mom stays home, it's almost impossible to make that dream come true if you want to have more than just a couple kids. It's really difficult to keep a family afloat on a single income, so that's a further destruction of the family. Now everyone is in survival mode, right? We're thriving because we're in a first world privileged country where we have everything that we need right at our fingertips, but we are also in survival mode of the first world kind, meaning that if you don't go to work every single day, you cannot provide for your family. Now you have a population of men and women, mothers and fathers, not paying attention to what's going on around them because they are in survival mode. Everyone is just putting one foot in front of the other because they have to. They're not paying attention to what the government is doing, and the government is getting away with murder of all sorts because everyone is just trying to survive, okay? Everyone's going to work, everyone's coming home and trying to spend a second with their kids, a second with their spouses, a second to themselves, just to sit down and relax, put your feet up, eat some dinner, hang out with your family and go to bed, and then wake up at the crack of dawn and do it all over again, okay? That is the mode that the average person is in. So a side note here is when the right demonizes the left and the left demonizes the right, everyone needs to put the demonizing down and realize that we're all just people putting one foot in front of the other trying to survive our government's corrupt society that they are making harder and harder for us as individuals, okay? So calm down with hating one side or the other, all right? It's really not that important to hate each other. It's really, really, really important that we hate the government because they're the ones doing it to us in more ways than one. So if you're tracking along with me, yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. That's kind of the whole kit and caboodle of what I just had to say is that women abandoned their post via feminism, and they are now in the workforce, which means the government has now doubled their income and spending money, which they use wildly anyway, and they just print and create and pull out of their buttholes whenever they want. Even if they didn't have the money, they just do whatever they want with fake money anyway, and then we reap the consequences of that, right? So feminism, fall of the family, double the workforce, double the money for the government to spend. The government is now off its ass power and greed and doing all of these things behind our back in different countries all over the world, starting wars. Wars are money makers up to no end, which is why America has been a part of a war for freaking ever, which is why Donald Trump was so unpopular with both the Democrats and the Republicans, because they knew damn well that Donald Trump was not going to play ball with war. He was talking about, and this is side note, this is why you need to take it easy on the Trumpers, because Trumpers are just hardworking Americans who are, again, putting one foot in front of the other, who very much fell in love with the messaging of Donald Trump because he wanted to bring the troops home, okay? That was a huge selling point for Donald Trump, is Donald Trump is anti-war. And there has not been a single anti-war president in decades and decades and decades. We have been involved in wars for decades, and Donald Trump said, absolutely not. I'm bringing the boys home. I'm bringing the troops home. We are done with this pointless war in Afghanistan. There were never any weapons of mass destruction. We never found any. Even if you don't believe in the conspiracy theory that everything that happened under Bush was contrived to go to war and make a frick ton of money. Even if you don't believe that conspiracy theory, if you do believe that there were weapons of mass destruction and that whole thing was true and real and not, I can't even talk about it without getting really upset. But if you actually believe that happened, there were no weapons of mass destruction. There were none to be found. Nothing happened with that. And yet we were a part of a 20+ year war that took the lives of so many people, both overseas and then when they came home, okay? And the government did that to them. The government used their bodies for money, okay? And Donald Trump called that shit out and said, no more. I'm bringing them home, okay? So next time you want to talk shit about Donald Trump and point fingers at someone who actually liked Donald Trump and supported him, you have to understand that the media did not highlight his policies and things that he believed in to the point where Democrats and liberals got to see that side of him, okay? But the people who were interested in him saw that side, and whether or not, let's say Donald Trump was just like any other politician and he didn't live up to his promises and he was just talking out of his butthole through his mouth, right? Let's say he didn't follow up on those promises. That's why people voted for him, because that's what he said he was going to do, and that's what he did, okay? So good on him for doing that. And stop hating people who liked Donald Trump, because so many people had a son or a daughter who died, or who knows someone who had a son or a daughter who died, or was a brother or a sister, whatever it may be. Thousands and thousands of American soldiers died at the behest of our corrupt government. Okay? Take a chill pill. All right? Take a chill pill with the hatred. Because if you weren't paying good enough attention and you were only listening to the mainstream media wasn't going to tell you that about Donald Trump, and they weren't going to tell you all the other things that he ran on politically and his policies that he believed in and wanted to pursue while he was in office. They only told you about the fact that he could grab a woman's, and that, you know, Mexico wasn't sending their best, okay? And there were fine people on both sides, right? That's what you know about Donald Trump, is his clipped little viral pieces that the media spun without context. So take a chill pill. If you don't know what you're talking about, take a chill pill. We need to be more understanding and open-minded to the fact that we can be wrong. We are fallible people. We get led astray all the time because, again, back full circle, we are just humans putting one foot in front of the other. We are just kids who go to school for 8 hours a day for 12 freaking years. And then if you want to go into college, you're going to keep going to school. So you're just putting one foot in front of the other for your education days. And then you go to work and you pay off your debt for decades. And so you're just putting one foot in front of the other, which is the perfect situation for a corrupt government to manipulate you, because you're not paying attention, because you're just trying to take care of yourself and your own. So anyway, I did not mean to talk about Donald Trump. I don't really I knew about Donald Trump was grab him by the pussy and Mexico rapist stuff and the neo-Nazi, find people on both sides. So that's the extent of what I knew about Donald Trump, and the fact that I never liked him as a celebrity. I thought he was ugly and weird, and I never understood what all the hype was about. But that's all I knew about Donald Trump. And then once I started paying attention and someone challenged me, someone asked me straight up, they're like, well, okay, I understand that you don't like Donald Trump the person, but do you know anything about his political stances? Do you know anything about the policies that he's wanting to enforce? And I was like, hold the phone. I'm going to do my research and I'll be right back. Totally on fire for the fact that I was going to find all of these really horrendous things that he wanted to do and prove that person wrong, that person who happens to now be my husband. But I was going to prove him wrong and be like, this is what he believes in, and I don't believe in what Donald Trump believes in. He's a piece of shit. I would never support him or his policies. Guess what? That's not what happened. That's not what happened. I listened to his rallies online. I listened to the things that he was saying. And again, you take the risk every time you put your faith in a political figure that they're just lying, right? That's what they do. That is what they do. They placate and they pander to their voter audience. And they say, you want free college? We'll give you free college. Just vote for us. And then then they get into office and they're like, haha, just kidding. We can't actually do that. But thanks for voting for us. We appreciate it. So you run the risk of your representative turning their back on you and their promises that they made you every time you vote, right? So it's all in good faith, right? And so, when people vote for Hillary Clinton, they vote in good faith. For the most part, people don't know what they're voting for. People don't understand. People are not plugged in. People, when they vote for Donald Trump, they were voting for the things that he was saying. Same with Hillary Clinton, same with Obama, same with freaking George Bush and John McCain and all these freaking crazy assholes who are part of the political theater system, right? But Donald Trump was not a part of that whole cabal. He was a celebrity. He was not a politician. He had his own money. He did not need lobbyists to pay his way, which means that he doesn't owe anyone anything, which means that when he gets to office, he's not a puppet. He is his own damn person. And that is so unbelievably important for people to understand, is that when these politicians get into politics, even if they are pure of heart and they want to make a difference in our world, they have to have the money to run. And lobbyists are the one with all of the money, and those are the big corporations and the deep pockets and the big pharma, all these different things that are all corrupt. And the second they take money from those people, they are now no longer who they said they were. They aren't allowed to be. But Donald Trump had his own money. He didn't have to be owned by anyone. Donald Trump owned his own damn self. And that's why people voted for him, because they knew the song and dance of politicians. If you're too young to understand these things, listen up, babes. This is how it works. It's political theater, and no one gets in there and gets to leave the same person that they entered in, especially ones who go in pure of heart, right? People like Tulsi Gabbard. I freaking love that woman. She didn't make it very far because she wasn't going to play ball, all right? And the people who aren't going to play ball get libeled and slandered and talked mad shit about. Anyway, this, again, is another one of Becca's roller coasters, and I hope you're tracking with everything that I'm saying and it all makes sense in its own crazy, wacky way. I'm an emotional person as it is, but I'm also more emotional because I'm pregnant, so I apologize for getting emotional. I am deeply passionate about our corrupt government and how it is screwing us over, and opening your eyes to seeing that. And I think that we have been lied to and manipulated in ways that run so deep that we couldn't possibly imagine it. But once you start to pay attention to the way this whole political system works in the United States, and you start to see the trends, and you start to see the patterns, and you start to really understand your enemy, you can look back into history and make quote-unquote tinfoil hat conspiracy theory ideas about things like feminism. Because guess what? After knowing the things that you know, when you find out the truth, it is not too far of a stretch to think that feminism was a government psyop. And if it was, holy hell, are they good? Holy freaking cow, are they good at what they do? And they are. Even if the feminism theory isn't true, everything else that they've pulled off, they're good at what they do. So once again, I urge you to put down your hatred. I urge you to put down your guns in regards to your opposing political views. We're just people who've all been manipulated and lied to, and we fell for one side of the aisle or the other, okay? And we all have good faith in the government representation that we believe in, all right? And my point here is that you shouldn't. You should not believe in the government. You should not believe in your representatives, especially if they're just straight politicians, which is why, like I said, Donald Trump was a shining star amongst a pile of turds, because he was different. Was he perfect? No. Was he a good person? I don't know. I don't know the man. I will never know the man. All I know is that when you don't play ball, they will turn you into a monster, even if you're not one. So don't trust your government, okay? Love you. Have a great day. Sorry to bring you down with all that information, but hopefully you understand what I said, and that you are now walking with your head held high and your middle finger to the government. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.